Hi, I'm Jennifer McNeil. This is my presentation on professional middle school publications. The publications that I reviewed were the Middle School Journal. The particular issue was issue 43, volume 3 from January 2012. And the other publication I reviewed was the AMLE magazine, or the Association for Middle Level Education magazine. And the issue I researched for this project was issue 3, volume 3, and it was published in August of 2018. Some background on the Middle School Journal is that it is published by the Association of Middle Level Education. It contains mostly scholarly research-based articles. It is written for teachers and educators who teach middle grade students ranging in age from 10 to 15. The articles are written to meet the diverse learning needs of young adolescents and are more research-based in nature. They are often peer-reviewed, statistical, and professional. The articles found in the Middle School Journal are developmentally appropriate, and they are written with this, we believe, set of guiding practices in mind. In comparison, the articles found in the AMLE magazine they're available to teachers and administrators to give them tools and information they might need to motivate and engage their students in the classroom. The articles written for this publication are written so that the practices can be easily implemented into classroom practices. Some features of the magazine are its colorful appearance, with current and relevant graphics, and it's published more in the style of a magazine, less of a journal, and the articles are fairly brief but packed with practical tips. A few of the standout articles in the publications were the 3 R's and Exploring the Crime Scenes. They were both found in the AMLE magazine. The others were How to Make Learning Matter for Multitasking Generation and Building and Activating Students' Background Knowledge. Both of those were found in the Middle School Journal. For my presentation today, I will be talking about the 3 R's article and the article from AMLE magazine and the Building Background Knowledge, which was found in the Middle School Journal. I want to tell you first a little about the authors of the articles. The writer of the AMLE piece is Julie Adams. Adams is a former teacher of 14 years, and she taught all the way through the spectrum, from elementary all the way through graduate school. She now works as an international speaker and a consultant with a specialty in neuroscience. She offers advice on best practices for critical thinking, literacy, and student engagement. Hers was the feature article in this issue of AMLE magazine. The writers of the Middle School Journal article are all 3 accomplished professors of education at San Diego University who teach in the field of health sciences. Their work in building on background knowledge was researched through rooted methods and deeply reflects the following characteristics of this, we believe: meaningful learning, challenging curriculum, and multiple learning approaches. The audience of both publications would be teachers, administrators, and support personnel. For the Middle School Journal article, I would say the audience would be more for the classroom teacher or administrator who seeks to develop a piece of professional development to share with their peers or employees. As for AMLE, the audience is mainly teachers and administrators. Researchers who are developing scholarly articles may use content from AMLE publications that back and complement their research, in which case those sources would be cited for credit. I would not be hesitant to share an AMLE article with a parent so they could better understand something I may be trying to convey to their child in the classroom. As for the Middle School Journal, I feel as though these publications are written for educators of all levels. The practices are research-based and can be put into practice with further examples in most cases. I would use the Middle School Journal if I was doing a piece of professional development that needed to be shared or presented to someone else. The Middle School Journal is not intended for parents and students, since it's very academic and research-based in its presentation. It is what I would consider a professional journal, much like a medical journal would be to medical professionals. Let me talk about what is characteristic of practice-based articles. Practice-based knowledge is less scientific in nature. It is based more on grounded knowledge through experience, trial and error, and authority in the classroom. This kind of knowledge through experience can be used to help others in the practice of teaching, realizing that they are not alone, teachers realizing they are not alone in their efforts, whatever those may be, to implement new strategies into their current teaching methods or improve ways they are teaching certain students. Practice-based knowledge can also be used by others in their pursuit of more scientific and evidence-based research. Those who are writing more science-based research can use the experiences of others who have shared their experiences through their practice. A little about the article from the AMLA magazine, The 3 R's for Middle School Success. The 3 R's focus on the importance of 3 practices that can be used in the classroom. Those 3 practices are relationships, reflections, and retakes. In a nutshell, Julie Adams shares about the importance of putting a focus on relationships, reflection, and retakes as a part of creating a successful middle school classroom. She refers to the practices as it relates to creating more in-depth knowledge and critical thinking skills. She focuses on the value of building positive relationships and how those positive relationships have a direct effect on social and academic outcomes for students across the social strata. Adams gives a list of key points and how to grow those relationships and examples of what they look like. She talks about reflection and how setting goals can actually enhance executive function of the prefrontal cortex. Helping students reflect on how they have made short-term achievements can encourage students as they see that success is easy and achievable. Reflecting practices include setting goals, identifying small strategies to implement, and reflecting on areas of strength and those that need improvement. In discussing retakes, Adams discusses the importance of allowing students who need more time to have more time. Adams found that allowing the extra time ended up creating opportunities for mastery, where that would have not been the outcome if she had forced them to assess at an assigned time. This is a very student-centered approach, but in the end, all of these approaches cultivate greater student competence, confidence, and comprehension. I really like the AMLE magazine publication, especially this article. It falls in line with the AMLE website with its colorful graphics, practical approaches, and short, easy to read in a few pages, and to the point articles. It puts you at ease quickly with precise information delivered with a few examples of implementation. The articles don't usually leave you feeling as though you have to go back for further study. In contrast, the articles in the Middle School Journal seem to be more research-based and are more scientifically grounded. To say that, I think their relevance is formed through their higher quality, evidence-based, and professional knowledge. Research-based practices can improve quality of programming. This is because it is based on theories that have been practiced over time and compared to make adjustments that are proven to work. This is the feel I get when I read the Middle School Journal. It is professional, evidence-based, and statistical in practice, incorporating the practices and opinions of many scholarly authors. I want to give a brief summary about the article I found in the Middle School Journal. First of all, the article in the Middle School Journal, Building and Activating Students' Background Knowledge, is useful for teachers who are seeking to capitalize on prior knowledge to get to deeper understanding. The article, co-authored by 3 professionals in education and health sciences, is well researched and purposefully planned. The article quotes many of the leaders of the middle school movement, such as Lounsbury, McEwen, Dickinson, and more. The theory is that young adolescents experiences engage their peers' learning, and that because of this, teachers should build curricular experiences that involve social contact. Student engagement should be their cornerstone of all learning experiences. I liked what the article said. It said, preparing middle grade students for eventual successes in high school involved recognizing that they are transitioning from self-contained, child-centered elementary classroom settings that are emotionally and academically supported. Effective teachers realize that young adolescents are greatly influenced by their peers. They possess that such engagement supports building a wide array of background knowledge that middle grade students need to succeed during a typical school day as they move from one class and text to the next. The article goes on to tell what background knowledge is. It refers to student diversity and experiences that diversity brings. It then goes on to tell how teachers can use background knowledge to create relevancy, because not all background knowledge is equal or relevant. The article then goes on to talk about how to anticipate misconceptions and gives practical ways to reteach for accurate understanding. The authors provide resources to guide teachers as they recognize and reteach by giving practical examples. They then talk further about steps to measuring student background knowledge. They list many misconceptions, resources, and then give examples. The article then begins to explain how after you measure, you build on background knowledge, you use vocabulary. It goes on to list the steps of that process by connecting vocabulary to knowledge and experiences. In the end, they bring it all together to tell how to use all the strategies to effectively activate background knowledge. They conclude by explaining how we need these techniques because we are faced with ever-expanding sources of information via the internet and requirements to use this information through subsequent years of schooling. They believe that it is essential to teach middle grade students how to identify their purposes for reading, assessing their potential for understanding a text, and examining their existing base of knowledge. I really liked how they stated the purpose again. And they stated, to function successfully in a 21st century environment filled with new media texts and topics, one must be smart about how one's own base of knowledge and how to support one's own intellectual growth. Because students today are both producers and consumers of information, we believe that this will willingly accept the challenge for them to grow their base of knowledge if we show them how. The independence will help them make connections to information and create information they will need to function across communities and contexts, continually change through new technologies that we may not yet fathom. That is by the authors of the article. The middle school journal is what I would consider to be very academic. Here I've listed a comparison of the AML magazine and the middle school journal, and some of where they're alike and different. The articles are written by peers, they're practice-based in the AMLE. In the middle school journal, they're more academic and statistically based and more peer-reviewed. Thank you for your time in my presentation. of the Middle School Journal.